For those of you who may not know me, I'm Armen Khachaturian, chair of the Stewardship Department. You may be here for the first time church shopping, and I want to tell you that you've picked the best Sunday to attend. Today you will learn how we as members of this great congregation manage our finances and how we take care of this church and support missions well beyond our four walls. I've never been a witnessing steward, and I'm here as the chair of stewardship, but I do need to tell you a little bit about my faith journey and growth. It all began some 37 years ago. Our son Adam was only about 2.5 years old, and Kate was on a mission to find a good nursery school for him. Kate met a Union Cong member and a mother of a young child at the Montclair YMCA pool, who promptly told her that there was no equal to the UCC nursery school. We enrolled Adam and became members shortly thereafter. We had no idea what was expected of us financially. I thought that $10 a week that I was giving was going directly to God. We didn't know anything about the expenses of this church. Then one day, like today, the stewardship chair stood here and said, we need $1,200 per family to meet the expenses of this church. That number, by the way, today is about $4,300. I was dumbfounded. We were not meeting our obligation. We weren't doing our part. That changed everything. Thinking about this a bit and discussing it together, we realized that we're not only responsible for our share of the expenses of the church, but perhaps there were some that simply could not give the average. They gave what they could, but it was not the average. And some couldn't give at all. And in fact, were struggling to pay their rent and put food on their table. All of God's children were coming here, and they were all welcome, but they had different resources. Last week, David Shaw gave the best sermon that I've ever heard about giving, stewardship. The story of the old woman with the 2 copper coins has always been my favorite. But I had never thought about it quite the same way. Why didn't anyone grab her wrist and say, I've got this covered. Keep your money so that you can live. Many in this congregation know this, and the message for them has changed from obligation to generosity. I think about God's love for us and his generosity even as we err, and we err all the time. I surely do. Yet his grace follows us, and for everything that we give, he replenishes us tenfold. We don't give so that he would love us. We give because he loves us. And he loves us unconditionally, like a parent would love a child unconditionally. And what about time? Kate and I needed to give some of our time, as all departments were relying on people like us to make them run. So I began to say yes when asked. The first person to ask me was Greg Monzes. I don't know if he's here or not. I told Greg Monzes was the chair of diaconate. I told him I would be happy to serve on anything that he would serve on. The next year, I took Greg's job. So I got to sit on a leadership council meetings. At one meeting, the chair of stewardship was making a case for the need to ask for bigger pledges. What else is new? The person next to me whispered in my ear, there they go again with their hand out. I was confused. I said, who's this they? Who's they that you're talking about? I only see us in this room. We are it and collectively responsible for all of its expenses. Folks, we are an autonomous congregation. We own this church and the ground that it stands on. We are responsible for all of its expenses. That is abundantly clear. But really, it is much more than that. Don't give because the church needs it. Don't give because we need to balance the budget. Give because you need to be generous. Look around you and count God's generosity in your life. Count all that he has given you. And then ask yourself, am I giving back? Am I helping his cause? Am I taking care of my brother and my sister? We have some incredibly generous members among us. To them, I am eternally grateful. And we have members that barely get by financially. To them, I say, keep your money. We've got this covered. When was the last time you heard that? Then there are members who have the means and the ability to give, and some to give a lot, and they don't. To them, I say, open your heart and open your wallet. This church has been here for you, and this congregation has taken care of you and your family. Be generous. Give something, anything. It will be the beginning of your faith journey. In closing, we are a very generous congregation. When it comes to outreach, we rise to incredible heights. Ted, 3 weeks ago, mentioned Uniform Justice, sponsoring a refugee family, and Christine's Soup Kitchen. These are not small things, and we do a lot more than that. Their value cannot be measured in dollars. They have a positive impact well beyond our imagination. We want to keep that going. We want to reach out and help. Who is my brother? Who is my sister? How long have you been coming here? How long has God been speaking to you and to us collectively? Catherine Kemp a week ago said that she thinks of her giving as investing in Union Cong. We are investing in this institution, not just to pay salaries and utilities. We invest here to make it possible to do God's work. Val Ruddy 2 weeks ago talked about the beautiful buildings. We're so fortunate to see these gorgeous windows in the chancel. We didn't pay for them. Some other people in the past did, and we're the beneficiaries who enjoy them. We need to make sure that this place is standing and doing the work that it is doing for many years. I am investing here, not for my future, but for the future of this church, this house of God that makes great things possible. Now I invite you, if you've already written your card, to tear open the envelope, cross out that number, and listen to your heart, not to your head. And when you've written the number down, come up here and put your envelope on the table. If you don't have any cards, the ushers in the back have them. Thank you.